Glenn, welcome back to another edition of Sponsorship Unpacked. Obviously, it's a big part of our week is enjoying and spending time discussing the topics that come up from day to day as we go about our business and support our clients. And obviously, in this type of environment, we like to give some advice and some tips and techniques to those people who are interested in sponsorship or are looking to even join us or already work with us. Today, I'm pretty keen to put a topic on the table that I know is a little bit of a bugbear for you sometimes. It is for me often as well. But obviously, we're really keen to see our clients succeed and people succeed in sports sponsorship more generally. It's really tough out there. The feedback we get daily is it is a very difficult environment for clubs. Um, but one of the things we produce for our clients is what we call hot leads. However you want to frame it, leads, warm leads, hot leads, we provide warm, hot introductions to people who are interested in their club, interested in sponsoring, interested in discussions. And I'd like to talk today about how best to optimize a warm lead or a hot lead. And the reason why you're the perfect person to talk about it is because you are also the recipient of our team's hot leads. And so I'd like to talk through how you go about speaking of hot leads and working through and understanding them, etc. So I'm not going to talk any more about it because I feel like you are the perfect person to do it. Glenn Annette's our general manager. Um, Please be introduced and look forward to hearing more about how you go about it.
That sounds like a mighty hot pass over, Andy. Nice, thank you. Hey, I am super passionate about this topic because it's something that I've had to learn myself, as you say. I'm a recipient of these and run these for some of our big clients, but for a community club, it's really critical that we enable you to succeed. And one of the biggest things that we talk about a lot is we do a lot of hard work to get the strategy right, to get the campaign, the area, the businesses right. So we then pass over to a community club, a lead who has said, yep, I'm interested, tell me more. And the success of the program can sometimes be determined based on exactly what happens next. And so what we're starting to talk about here is what does a community club and what do you do when you have one of those leads and how do you have the best chance of success? And I'm going to start off right off the top is understanding your lead is really critical. So first knowing who they are, doing a little bit of homework. It doesn't take long. So it might only be a minute or two, but look them up. Have a look at what sort of business they are. What are their services? What area do they look in? And yeah, what their customers, what type of customers they might be. What type of customers they might have and attract to that business. So that's the perfect leading, so that you make sure when you are then interacting with this lead that you're in the best place. So first tip is definitely do some research. My next tip is undeniably our strongest recommendation is the first thing that you do as far as an interaction perspective is to call them. So often the way we write our interactions or our emails is asking at the end, tell me if you want more information. So a lead might come back and say, yep, send me your pack or send me your sponsorship details or yep, pass through the information. That's good. And what that says is they want more. But 100% the best thing to do is call them and try and call them. And if you don't get them the first go, have a go again and again and again. I've in fact said to people for the first week, call them nearly daily. Because once you've got a lead who is interested, you've got to jump on it and you've got to take advantage of that first interest that they have. So calling the lead will help, and then you start to have a conversation about what they're interested in, what their goals might be, what they might be looking for. And then you can send some information through or send your pack through, which definitely is a good follow-up, but really important first step, Andy.
And so let's let's just unpack that slightly. Really, it's about, I mean, we always talk about developing relationships, which is pretty vital in any sort of sales environment. And this is a sales environment. Some people forget that. So not only are you ensuring that you connect with them nice and quickly while they're interested in that and then they're thinking about it, but you're also developing that relationship nice and early. And relationships are based on trust, and that gains their trust. It shows that you've got an interest in them, and yeah, that personal connection can't be underestimated.
No, definitely. So, um, certainly in that call. So here's another deep dive is you've got to seem personable. You've got to seem open and friendly, of course, and bring your own personality in there. But yeah, try and make a connection. Maybe talk about the business or the area or the weather if you have to go as surface as that. But just opening yourself up and be personable. But my next tip also is in that conversation is ask questions. So there could be a danger, or there can be a danger in just launching straight into a spiel as to you, the club, what the club's about, what we're trying to do, what we're all about. That's fine, but you actually want to get the best engagement. And as you just said, Andy, about developing a relationship, one good way is ask questions, and that's a good way to get a sense of really what they're after and what their goals might be. And as soon as you've got that information, it's an awesome next step. You can leverage that. You can talk to, oh, you said you want to engage more with the community, or you want to bring more business in. Hey, here's a way to do it. And then you can start leveraging your information about your packages, etc.
Got it. Now, next point number three. I think we're there. Now, what we see a lot are people who just probably get a little bit lazy, maybe a little bit time poor, maybe just don't want to have a conversation. Um, but what we're talking about here is not necessarily what people may want to do. It's more what optimizes the results of these hot leads becoming a partner, right? And so we've talked about understanding them, speaking to them, asking questions, understanding their motivations. Don't send, point number two is don't send an email, give them a call. Um, we see a lot of people just sending a brochure through and hoping that something happens. What are your thoughts on that?
Listen, there's a small chance it could work, but really, ultimately, what you're trying to do is you are trying to get an emotional connection and an emotional agreement to support you. And it's very easy. We're all flat out. We're all busy. We're all diverted, and distracted. So if I get an email, number one, we're a little bit programmed to ignore or not really absorb that stuff. And number two, it's easy to go, yeah, I'll look at that later. It's not really critical now, and it's gone. The moment's gone. So listen, it may work every now and then, but the brochure shouldn't be the crutch. The conversation and the relationship should be the crutch. The brochure can be the tool, and the tool can be giving you that next level of information and certainly guiding you towards the packages that are available.
I love it, Glenn. Um, point number four, key thing for you.
Tell me more about point number four.
Oh, mate, you're the expert. I'm being guided purely by you here.
I thought you were leading me down a path. All right, point number four for me would be once you've had the conversation, once you've sent the brochure as a follow-up, and in that being able to guide them, maybe, hey, based on our conversation, based on the things you're looking for, I think this silver package is the right one for you, as a for instance. Once you've done that, then I would say the next thing to do is follow up. So again, people are busy, they get distracted and get consumed doing other things. Next thing for me would be follow up. So within a couple of days, reaching back out and saying, how you going? What's your thoughts on the next steps? I thought more about how we can engage or how we could bring you into our community. Let's go. That would be my next step.
And then so you follow them up, you give them a call, engaging. What happens then?
Well, from then people go, yeah, I'd love to, and they'd sign up. And
Close the deal, Glenn. Close the deal.
it's, well,
Ask
I've
the question. That's what you got to. That's where you got to go. That's what people want.
we want to close the deal. So we want to be simple. We want to make sure that we can get to an agreement, make sure they understand the benefits, and it's all about them. So this is back to the top where we talked about asking questions, making sure that the conversation is about them. So they know what the benefit is, they know what's in it for them, and they can also agree that, yeah, they're going to get something out of it.
100%. For me, the big thing that is very important is the ask. Ask them. Do the deal. Um, People will drift through, not want to put a number on the table, not want to ask them if they want to do a deal or if they're happy to go ahead. You've got to ask that question. So that's super important. Mate, anything that you feel like you just want to add to our 6 points before we just wrap it up and talk about what we're going to talk about next week on our.
I reckon, yeah, another, just to add to what you've said just before, is something that's really important to understand is you go into those conversations with a brochure and a packages, and those packages have prices and defined benefits. Something that's super important to remember is they are not set in concrete. So you can absolutely negotiate. So if you're back to your point around closing the deal and asking, you might need to be flexible. You might need to throw in some more benefits. You might need to adjust the price or the term, the timing, all things that are flexible in order for you to get a deal closed. So feel free to make sure you get that closed to use those levers that you can pull.
100%. 100% love it. So let's just quickly run through it. So point number one, understanding your hot lead. Make sure you're asking questions of them and not just talking about you. First contact is calling, don't send. We're talking about optimizing, obviously, the results here. So calling them, super important. That's come through loud and clear. Using the brochure as a tool, not just a crutch. So it's something to guide a conversation, not necessarily the entire conversation. That's not the full pitch. The full pitch is you speaking to someone. Point number four, when you do pitch and you are sending the brochure through after you've spoken to them, make sure you are focusing on their needs and letting them know that you know what they need and making suggestions around what would be the best fit package for them within your club for them to achieve their goals. Um, Point number five, following up. So once you've done that, you've sent it through, you've made a suggestion, don't leave it too long. If you leave it too long, they drift. We all have all been there, and then it becomes a genuine cold conversation. And last one is ask and close the deal. Ask them. You need to make sure you're putting the question to them, and getting them to say yes or making some sort of commitment. Then you've got a relationship and something that you can move forward with. So I think we've covered it all there. So a clear 6 points to ensure that you optimize the hot leads or warm leads, either coming through us or in other ways that they come to you. Next week, Glenn, something that keeps coming up that we are going to talk about is this notion. We have several of these conversations today that community sport a is no longer just community sport like we once knew it. Is now become a business, and that sponsorship has become a big part of that. So it's something we're going to address next week and talk through, and suggest ways in which community clubs and the volunteers can help smooth out some of their issues that they've got. So looking forward to that conversation. But thank you for today, Glenn.
Sounds good. And hopefully that's super helpful, and get out there selling.